All right, we're going to jump right into the computer right away here because I want to give you some action items to take right now. This is especially for anybody that has never talked to a property owner before, like really talk to them. I want you to jump in and take action because it is all about progress, not perfection. I want you to write that everywhere. I am telling you, the top 200, 300, 400 students that I've coached, the top ones, the top 10%, this is the mantra. This is the motto. It is about charging forward and taking action every single day. So let's jump into the computer here. This is what I want you to do. Here's your homework for today. All right, I want you to go to Zillow. All right, just go into Zillow, and under the Buy tab here, I want you to go to For Sale by Owner, okay? For Sale by Owner. So these are people that want to sell their properties, okay? They're already putting it out there. They're not listed with an agent. And listen, you could call agents. You could do anything you want. But I want you to just today to make one call. I mean, have one conversation. That's the goal. But just start with dialing one number of a stranger that you're going to reach out to and have a conversation, a quality conversation about their property. The beautiful thing about this is when we're pre-qualifying these property owners, we know we're looking for 4 things: the condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation to sell, and their price. Well, what do we know right off the bat with these properties that are already listed for sale by owner? We know the condition of the property because there's pictures of it. We know their timeline. They've got it already out there saying, I want to sell this property. We know what price that they want. We've got 3 out of the 4. The last one we have to figure out is their motivation. Do they have to sell this property? Are they putting their property out there and they just have stars in their eyes and they're really hoping that they can get this price? Or are they putting it out there and they're willing to negotiate and they're starting way high because they know that somebody's going to come in and negotiate lower and kind of meet in the middle of where they actually want? And you never know this until you have a quality conversation. So I'm going in here. I'm looking for older houses. I know Phoenix. This looks like an older house at $290,000. I take a look at this, and this is how bananas this is, right? So you see that this estimate for this is $320, and you're seeing that people are already not listing it at Zillow price. All right, this is a new. This is very new. All right, a new development. That's what was going on in my brain. A new development in our real estate market is people are now putting it under the Zillow price. Whoa. Things are a-changing, right? So you've got this at $290. Now, I look at these pictures. By the way, all the info is right there. All the info is right there. He's got his email. He's got his phone number. Now, when I look at this and I see that he's got like a FSBO email already set up for this, this is going to be an investor that's going to be tougher to negotiate with because he's going through all the steps. But look at this property. I mean, I'm looking at this. Okay, nothing in the yard. He's showing it's totally gutted. Look at this house. Look at the potential here. Like, what is happening? Builder's special. He's literally saying, investors, come give me an offer. All I want you to do is, and by the way, he has his phone number here, but typically you'll scroll down and it's going to be right here, listed by and the property owner's info. Sorry, let me get my big head out of the way. There you go. Listed for, and there's the phone number. You call them up. And you start having a quality conversation. Guys, you could do this in any market. You could call in Phoenix if you live in Toledo. You could call in Toledo if you live in Jacksonville. You could do this anywhere, right? If you're going and you're looking for sale by owners that look like they need some love, you can go and start taking action right now. All right, and then you just go through it. And if he doesn't answer, leave a voicemail, send him a text, find somebody else. Go through these properties and look for these rough properties. Look at this. Here's another one, right? This looks like it needs some love. The windows are literally like broken open, right? So I'm looking at this property and I'm already seeing price cuts. I'm going to go down here. The owner's information is right there. All right, it's right there. It's absolutely incredible. So, guys, just start calling these for sale by owners and start having quality conversations. Are you going to lock up these deals right away? No. Maybe. Maybe. I know this for sure. And Matt, you can put me full screen, brother. I know this for sure. I know that if you don't call, you won't lock them up. I know that if you don't call, you won't get to the bottom line. But when you're making these calls, you've got to see what the motivation is. And the way that I like doing this with for sale by owners is, hey, I saw your listing on there. Can you tell me about the property? Can you tell me about, I'm sure you've had a ton of calls. Are there offers that you've already rejected so that I'm not wasting your time? And then they'll kind of go into that. And then the most important question, if you don't sell this property for this price, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. I'll once I get the right price, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it no matter what. That's when your spidey senses should be going off. That's when you should be getting really, really, really excited, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this person is going to be reasonable. They really sound like they're motivated to sell this property and they're going to get realistic. Now, if you really want to get gangster with this, which I suggest you do, I would get batch leads 100%, and I would do research on them as you're having these conversations because you can see what they bought it for. See, some of the people that bought it in the last year or two are going to get caught with losses here. But what you're looking for is, did they buy it years and years and years ago? Did they buy it during the downturn in 2008, 9, 10? When you see that they bought it and what they bought it for in disclosure states, obviously non-disclosure states you're not going to be able to find out, but you can kind of get an idea of if you have the time frame of when they closed on that, you can kind of get an idea how much equity they have in this. And then you could do something like, some sort of creative deal with them if you want. Right? If the price is the most important thing, okay, great. I can give you that price, but let me give you $200 a month for this property for the next 5 years, and let me get this thing up and running and get it sold and pay you off what you need. But I can't give you this price because that's the fixed up price and the market's going down. Right? What if somebody's like, okay, well, you give me $200 a month and it's yours. Right? They put a note on it. You're on title. You start being able to fix that up or get partners to be able to fix that up, and you don't have a huge capital expense. Start thinking creatively. Not only that, you could sell that. Right? You get somebody locked in for 5, 10 years, $200, $300, $400 a month on this thing that's sitting there vacant, earning them nothing. And you find somebody that wants to buy that and live in that, and then you wholesale it to somebody. They give you $20,000 down. You give them the deed. Now you got 20 grand. You just wholesaled a creative deal. Woo! Yes! Can you feel it? Oh, I hope you can feel it, but it doesn't happen unless you take those, you make those calls, right? Those gut check moments. All that gut check, all that fear is just doubt. Right? Doubt that you're in the right market. Doubt that you have the right skills. Doubt that you're tall enough or short enough or thin enough or fat enough or strong enough or whatever it is. All these crazy insecurities that we have, all these crazy doubts that we have, these limiting beliefs that we have, get erased by reps. Get erased by having quality conversations. Get erased by being in action all the time. That's why we have it right here. Progress, not perfection. That's the key. That's what the top performers know. Progress, not perfection, right? Boom. We're talking about schedule today. We're talking about the perfect schedule. We've talked about it before, but I want to go through it again because I get a lot of questions, whether it be on Wholesale Hotline, whether it be DMs, whether it be in with my coaching students. They know because we go through it in the training, but sometimes there's little nuances to it that are misunderstood. So let's crack this thing open. Let's look at a part-time schedule first, Matt. Let's get a part-time schedule so that everybody out there that's working hard, they've got a placeholder called their 9 to 5 that they're working at and paying their bills and getting their responsibilities taken care of, can implement into your business. I'm asking for 20 hours. 20 hours, and this is so key here. It can't be 20 hours of education. It can't be 20 hours of thinking. It can't be 20 hours of comping deals that aren't deals or looking at, oh, there's this ugly vacant house down the street. Let me go run all the comps so I know exactly what to offer them when I get them on the phone. Don't do that. Cut out all that, right? This is 20 hours of focused effort. And you'll see 15 of those 20 hours is you talking to people. It's you picking up the phone. It's you having those quality conversations with the property owners that are in distress. Pre-foreclosures, tax default, vacant properties, just ugly properties, right? All of these. There's so many different reasons why people would want to trade their price for speed and convenience. That's what we focus on, 15 hours a week. And I'm telling you, you stay consistent with this, you don't have a job after 90 days. You fire your boss after 90 days. You go in, you're going to have enough deals in the pipeline if you stay consistent with this that you are going to have a different lifestyle. Can you survive that 90-day gut punch? Can you squat up with people that are already up where you want to be and show them that you're being proactive and that you have that electricity in your soul, that you're going to go out there no matter what and win at this business? It's that 90 days. It's that punch. It's that insecurities, doubt, distraction, disappointment, doubt, distraction, disappointment. But it changes you. And with change, that's how you become a different person. Just like Earl Nightingale said at the opening here, right? You start thinking about the person that you want to be. You start being around the people that you want to be, and you become that. So 15 hours of lead generation, 1 hour of practice and role play. Now, what I mean by that is anytime, as you start having conversations, you're going to start getting people that ask you questions that you feel uncomfortable answering. Write down those questions and then write 2 responses on how to respond to them that you feel confident that you're responding to them. Not only that, but on the end of that, tag on to those responses questions, a question back to them. Answer their question, respond with a question, right? It's one of the 7 steps of a perfect phone call, a perfect conversation with the property owner. So make sure that you're building those skills and you're practicing. You're practicing the script. You're practicing the script. You're going through it. 1 hour of lead follow-up. This will increase over time as you start getting more and more leads. But remember what a lead is. A lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell this property. Not somebody that needs to be convinced at the right price, at the right offer, at the right timing, while they can control the whole process that they'll sell, right? It's not like that. Like they have to already want to sell the property. All right. 1 hour driving for dollars, go out there and find the ugliest properties in your marketplace. 80% of the first deals that wholesalers or investors do, if they go direct to seller, are from driving for dollars. All right, dealmachine.com. It is absolutely incredible. They do all the work for you. We get the biggest discounts if you use that TTP code. If you don't want a discount, do what you want. 2 hours on appointments, and if you don't have appointments, then you're back on driving for dollars and lead follow-up. Okay, but you got to find 20 hours. And 20 hours is difficult to find. You got to start, having some conversations with your family. You got to start having conversation. You got to look at your schedule and see when you're going to have the energy to be able to do this. Because we talk about time management, it looks good on paper. I can manage my time on paper. I get it. I got 24 hours. I can manage that. But then it's priorities. Well, I got all these other things that I have to do. I have a doctor's appointment. I have work. I have I coach a baseball team. I do other things, whatever. Then there's priority management, right? And then there's energy management. Well, it looks all good on paper, and I can fit it in at, I can start making calls from 5:30 to 6:45 at night when I get home from work. Do you have the energy to be able to do that? You're going to have to build that up, and you have to be honest with that. But I'm telling you, once you kind of taste a little bit of what's going on, once those like endorphins start going and you start like actually like seeing progress in your business, energy, you could tap into energy like anytime. We have it. We're like incredible beings, like for real. So you can tap into that energy, and that's where I really want you to be, is where this energizes your battery. It doesn't drain you. Right? At first it starts to, because we have those doubts and we're bringing that bag of insecurities with us, right? And then once we start throwing all that out because we're taking action and actually doing dope stuff, then, you get lighter and you have more energy. And then you go into attention management. Attention management. So we got time management, right? Priority management, energy management, now attention management. You master that, you get down to the point where you're like, and it's very simple. You eliminate all the distractions. You eliminate all the distractions. I'm not going to go on social media before I make the calls. I'm not going to look at my emails. I'm going to turn my notifications off. I'm just going to be proactive for the next 45 minutes. I'm going to call as many and have everything ready. Because shuffling papers and looking up stuff and doing research and looking at all that stuff is creative avoidance. No doubt about it. Don't get it twisted. It is creative avoidance. It's like, oh, I'm working. Yeah, you're busy. You're not productive. Productive is you having quality conversations, right? So put your attention on all I have to do is talk to people. That's your attention. All I have to do. It starts with one conversation a day. One conversation, do it for a week. Have 5 conversations in a week. It takes 200 to get a deal. So if you have 5 conversations a week, it's going to take you a while. And then you start building up, and you start building up, and you start getting into the rhythm. And you have to put your blinders on. You can't get into this education loop where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to just look at this, and I'm going to like paralysis by analysis so that I really feel confident doing it. The education comes from taking action and the results, right? So go after it. Let's get the full-time. And if you're full-time, rock and roll. If you don't have a full-time job, you can do this. This is where it's at. 8:30 to 9 o'clock, practice and role play, right? That's when you're going through, you're sharpening your skills. Don't sharpen your skills on the phone with the property owner. That's not the time, right? Like, you don't practice 10,000 free throws in the games. You know what I'm saying? You do it like your whole life at practice all the time. Put it back up, Matt. A 9 to noon lead generation. 9 to noon lead generation. That is, you are hunting. The morning is for finding deals. The afternoon is for doing deals. Write it down. Swallow the frog. The toughest part of our day is talking to strangers. The easiest part of our day is being around people that we've already talked to that actually like us or will communicate with us. That's easy, right? The tougher part is interrupting people's lives, jumping into their lives unannounced, uninvited, and having enthusiasm, being like, I'm here. You want an offer? Let's do this, right? You're going to go through a lot of rejection. You're going to get a lot of people. Get a job. How dare you? What are you doing? You know, all this stuff. You got to block out all that stuff, and you get better with reps, right? So 9 to noon, you stay focused on hunting for the opportunities. Have a quick lunch. Guys, you don't need an hour for lunch. You don't need an hour for lunch. Your lunch should already be made, and you're eating it, or you go pick up something, and it's done, right? This whole, I'm going to take 90 days off, 90 minutes off in the middle of the day to have this leisurely lunch is silliness. Unless you're meeting with somebody that is where you're at, you've got a retired real estate investor that you can meet with for a week on a weekly basis and just have conversations on a monthly basis, somebody that's already where you want to be. There's no sense in just going out with somebody that's like right where you're at. Like, let's just meet for lunch for an hour and a half and talk about the stuff that we're supposed to do. Stop it. You got to meet with the people that are already where you're at so they can pull you faster. I'm not saying don't squat up with people that are starting out, but what I'm saying is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, it's about you. It's about your business. It's about you taking action. It's not about staying busy, all right? 12:15 to 1 o'clock, aggressive lead follow-up. Aggressive lead follow-up. Do we have that picture of that rhinoceros? This is what I want you to think of when you're doing your lead follow-up. Something that is just focused and charging at you. Do it. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. That's your face during lead follow-up with a smile. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going after it. You are going after it. You're doing that lead follow-up aggressively. And I'm not saying your tone is aggressive. I'm saying that you are going to be relentless with your follow-up. I can't tell you how many people have no problem hunting but have real problem gathering, have a real problem going back because we want to hold on to these leads. We want to protect these leads. I feel so good with these leads. I'm going to roll around in them. Don't. Get rid of the people that don't want to sell and focus on the ones that do. And that's how you do these deals, okay? And then the last part is additional lead follow-up. If you have more leads to follow up with, or you're going on your appointments, you're negotiating with your buyers when you put out your properties to your buyers, or you are driving for dollars. Remember, driving for dollars is you're going out there and it is your. Do we not have the showrunners? No, we do. Matt? For Deal Machine, that is you're going out and you're in the store, and that's your inventory. Your inventory are these rough houses. It's not difficult. You don't have to listen. If you don't have to want to pull a list, you don't want to do all this elaborate stuff. One, you could call For Sale by Owners, which everybody on here, if you're just jumping on here, go to the For Sale by Owners, find the ugliest properties out there, and call them off of Zillow. Even if they never do business with you, you calling them is a win. That's progress. You start stacking these wins on top of each other, all of a sudden, that's what gets you the big check. But I'm actually changing the show, Raph, and I'm going to introduce Raphael in a second here. He's going to blow your mind with market stats. We're changing the show to progress, not perfection. No more ugly houses, big checks. I love that.
Not perfection.
There has to be the smaller steps. Because I think just putting it out there, I think that it just resonates. That's the essence of all the successful wholesalers that I've ever met in their first year, their first couple years. It's always progress, not perfection. And it continues on forever. I mean, that doesn't stop, but that's the focus. All right? So, welcome to the Progress Not Perfection show. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. Thank you for joining us. Your attention is unbelievable. And if you feel like we are getting you closer to your goals on this show, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. At 150 likes, Alejandra is forced. It's in her contract with me that at 150 likes on a live show, we have to send out a swag box to somebody in here that is participating and asking great questions and supporting people in the comment section. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Rafael Cortez. What's going on in our market, Rafael? How can we use the market data to be better at getting discounted property?
Well, progress, not perfection, right?
Yep.
I like that. I think it's it's the school of thought from day one. Let's talk about market stats, right? Do we have, Matt, do you have that up on the screen?
It is.
All right. I can't see what Matt is seeing, so we'll just kind of follow up with it, or follow along. But the first one that we see, there we go. Makes it a lot easier. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about, the obvious stuff, right? So housing inventory, we all know that listings are going up. Now, it's still spiking. The crazy thing is that we saw a big, massive, spike, and supply and demand is going to keep affecting pricing. So the sellers are starting. I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks. They're starting to, get the memo. Some people are still fixed on their price points and whatnot. But a lot of them are starting to see the reality, right? So more inventory means that we can be more aggressive on offers. Is really what it means. I mean, there's more. It may not look like it or feel like it, but it means that we can be pushing a little tougher, harder on those MAOs, maximum allowable offers. This one's crazy too. The medium sales price. Go to slide 2, Matt. Medium sales price increased 10% since March, right? This is one thing that we are looking at in my company when we adjust the offer price points. So if you see like the end of it, right? We see that we had a big, massive spike January through March and May, but it started tapering out little by little. Again, that's because of the 1 days on market, which we're going to see here in a minute. But sellers are starting to see that, oh, wow, I could sell my property for $1 million a month and a half ago, not anymore, right?
Right.
So one thing that we got to do is really adjust the offer price points. What we're doing again is we're using comps, the comps that we're getting on a regular basis. We're subtracting 10% automatically and then running the numbers off of that.
How far back are you going?
Comps 6 months tops.
Yeah. We're going 1 month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going 30 days. And then we'll go 90 days max. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, so for us...
But you're in other markets and...
Yeah, max number for us, just kind of evergreen. We go no longer than 6 months.
Yep.
So we'll use that for comps, and then whatever the number that we come up with, we'll subtract 10% and then work the numbers off of that.
Awesome.
So that's working. Inflation, next next one is going to be, I mean, we're at 8.5. We were talking about this last week briefly, right? The biggest thing that this thing is having, or the biggest impact, is debt to income. People can't afford the same stuff that they were able to afford previously. Next one, Matt. We have like the current average 30-year mortgage rate is around 6.5% on a 700 credit score. All right, FHA and VAs are at 5.9, but the rates are still climbing little by little. Inflation comes in, and then it just affects everything across the board, right? Affordability is dropping. Take a look at that, like from March to May. You see that that end of the that bottom graph right there? That's affordability. So the traditional buyers, they still want to buy, but they can't afford less house. Like they can't buy the same amount of property they were buying, 3 months ago. One thing that we're seeing on the traditional side is people were qualified to buy at a certain number, and then they didn't pull the trigger quick enough, and now they can't buy the same property. They have to come back and then look for something else that's cheaper. So the question for you guys out there is, what's the new hot price point in your area, right? And this, what we're looking at right now is national stats. So it's averages throughout the country, right? Take a closer look at your market and then see, for example, we used to have a hot price point of 250 to 280 at one point. Like that's no longer the case, right? Your marketing has to match that kind of stuff if you're honing in and you're dialing in your prospecting, all right? So keep that in mind. What's the new hot price point in your area? Affordability is dropping. So that means that buyers are going to be adjusting their buy boxes as well. So reach out to your buyers, have conversations with them. Hey, listen, how are you changing your methodology? Like, what are you buying now? You're buying houses $400,000, $500,000 now. Are you at 3? Are you at 7? What's the deal, right? It's going to vary just based off of what market you're in. One thing that also we have to keep in mind is days on market are getting extended. Let's take a look at that one, Matt, the next one. So this one's kind of funky. January, we saw, we had an average of 60 days on market before a property on the MLS was sold, right? So agents would put it up, it would wait 60 days to, actually get sold. And that started dropping. We got to a point where we had 30 days on market. Practically anything that you would put up there would get snatched, right? And then we saw adjusting and all that stuff. Right now, what we're seeing another little climb there. In a couple of months, the national average has increased, 5 days, almost a week, right? And that means a lot in terms of the accumulation of inventory. So people are not listing as fast as they were before, but the accumulation is still there, right? So inventory is still there. People still want to sell. Longer days on market, guys, also means more seller stress. We can push more aggressive offers. We can push negotiations. You're going to have counter offers. And in an industry where you have counter offers and you're going back and forth on the traditional side, it's a good thing. It's a good sign of opportunity, right? Especially for wholesalers. So listings are slower than purchases. Inventory is going to continue to increase, just at least for the time being, because of the time it's taking for things to just sell. Vacancy, rental vacancy rates, and vacant housing. All right, so more people are renting. Again, we're going back to that debt to income thing and then the pre-qualifying process and all that stuff, right? So the pattern here is they can't qualify due to inflation and debt to income. Now, what happens? People are renting. That first graph that we see right there, that's rental vacancy rates, all right? So they're dropping, meaning that people are getting more engaged in that rental activity. And then there's more vacant single-family properties out there. All right, so what does that tell you, right? Another crazy thing is that national foreclosure stats went from 65,000 last year to 164,000 this year. So it's not an increase; it's a spike.
Yeah,
it's just insane. We have a graph for that here. The next one. So again, going back to it, people are freaking out because you can't wholesale. The market is too tight. There's too much competition out there. Buyers are not buying. All these stories, right? At the end of the day, if we stay consistent with the marketing, we're going to see patterns that we can come in and then just capitalize on, take opportunity, man.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to, right?
Love it.
Progress, not perfection. Before I wrap it up, this one's interesting. All right, so cash purchases, the next one. Yeah, we are seeing a slowdown on cash, and again, this is national averages, all right? So from last year to this year, Cash buyers is just being more cautious, right? Over the last quarter, people are just switching their buy boxes. They're considering whether or not they'll take out a hard money loan because of the expenses, and then the length it's taking for properties just to gradually sell. So that's having a ripple effect in there. Like, recommendations are, again, revisit your buy boxes. Talk to your buyers list. Actually get on the phone and treat them like sellers, all right? Build that relationship. If you haven't done so yet, now it's more important than ever to do that kind of stuff. Look at your area's new and hot avatars. Look at the properties that are selling, right? And what the price point is, what property types, are there, what's the activity in what area. So that whole... When we start wholesaling, bro, we do a lot of research, right? Like, where do I tap in? Where do I drop marketing? And where can I spend more money? Where do I pull lists? We need to go back to that kind of stuff just to refresh the information that we're going after, right? Especially if you're marketing on a budget and you're driving for dollars, you want to make sure that you go to the places that are going to have the highest activity in place. So
love it.
Adjust your offer price by 10% from the comps, and then work your numbers from there. That's consistency is key. And then last but not least, this is we have new listing inventory. All right. So new listing inventory again is coming in at a slower rate. We see that first graph, how it kind of peaked and then it started dropping. It means that less people are putting properties on the market to sell for retail, right? And again, days on market are having an impact on that, but properties are still selling. So the existing home sales are increasing as well. So people are still buying. It's just they're buying slower, right? Sellers still want to sell. Buyers still want to buy. We just have to find their deals and then go deeper on those offers.
Love it.
There's no way around it.
Yep.
There's no way around it. So,
good.
Yeah.
Listen, it's important to understand the numbers. This is what professionals do. Okay. Now listen, if you're just getting started out, go on Zillow, make a call. Start building that up. But as you start really building this business, you got to keep an eye on what is going on in your market, what is going on with interest rates, what's going on with inflation, what's going on with all that, because that'll help you determine what your strategy is, right? Awesome. Let's crack this thing open. We went for a little bit longer today on the opening, but I thought it was really important to get those stats and to really look into it. And do market stats specific. Get into your actual market. Have conversations with the actual buyers in your area so you know what you're selling it to. All right? D-Hog. Hi, Brent. I have a seller who wants $78K. ARV is 114, right? Is that too high? He says $78K is his highest bid. I offered him $58,200. It's a duplex. Interesting. It depends on a couple different things. What is the condition, D, right? How much work does this property need, and how much rent is it taking in, right? What's the income that it's bringing in? I'd be curious to see what that is, and then you can just start playing around with some numbers to make sure that deal cash flows, right? So D, give us a little bit more information, or find out how much he gets in rent for both sides of those, and how much work it needs. I mean, it might be a deal. It might be a deal at 78 if they're getting really, really, really good rents and they've got really good tenants and it's in decent shape. Might be a good deal. You might be able to sell it for 85 to somebody that wants to add it to their portfolio if it adds significant cash flow to their bottom line. So, great job. Guys, we celebrate successes here, all right? We answer questions here. We make sure that we squad up in the comment section. Make sure that you use this as like a networking event of the day that you're connecting with, and find somebody. Oh boy, Alan, look at this. Look at that picture, Alan. I love it. I'll tell you what. Just recorded a $40K assignment deal. Come on, Alan. That is incredible. Alan, congratulations. $40,000. $40,000. Go look up the current household income in the United States. Go look it up and compare it to one conversation. He had one conversation. One conversation is the seed that leads you down to those opportunities. Rodolfo, Brent, I am new in wholesaling. Thank you for the info you provide. I'm close to my first deal. Cold calling with confidence. Thanks to you. I'm going to ring into that too, because listen, that is incredible. Celebrate when you do something uncomfortable that is leading you to a goal that you are trying to conquer, to achieve, to whatever, verbiage you want to put in there that's kind of cliche. But that's the whole thing. It's just progress. Incredible.
Sometimes we forget, right, to just like really notate the small wins.
Getting in your car is a win.
That's a win.
Driving to an older neighborhood is a win. Yeah. Getting an app, if you have nothing, if you don't have an app, you don't have Deal Machine, you don't have anything, you just have a piece of paper and you're writing down addresses. That's what I did. You write down an address, you go, you do some research, win. You get out of your car, you go knock on the door, huge win.
Oh, yeah.
You call and hang up real quick. Don't even let them answer. Win. You call and let them answer and say hello. Huge win. Huge win. I saw a post today. No joke. Do we have that? I took a screenshot of it. I think this 12-year-old's name is Ethan. His dad made a post today that he has done 5 deals. And if you notice down there, you see the little box down at the bottom. Big shout out to the Prieto family. Down there is a little sound thing. He's using the TTP cold calling script and calling homeowners right there. He's 12 years old. He's 12 years old. Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to ring the bell again. Thank you, Alejandro. Huge win. Now, he did mention in that post that he was going to hire VAs for his son. I would say do not do that. I would say have him make calls for the next 6 years, and he will be unstoppable. If you start leveraging other people's time and skills, you're going to stunt his. Let him do the hard work. Let him carry water and chop wood, for sure. Michael, how would you comp a house that has fire damage? Typically, depending on where you're at, you're going to be at about $125 to $140 a square foot, unless you're in California or Seattle or New York or Miami or some of these Palm Beach or whatever. Some of these really high-priced markets where the labor cost more, and you're putting higher quality fixtures in the property. It's going to be between 125 and 140. So you go and you go, okay, how much of this house is damaged? Well, it looks like it was just in the kitchen and a little bit of the living room. So it's like 600 square feet. Okay, great. Well, you times that by $140 a square foot, and you should be pretty close, but then you got to do the rest of the house, right? The rest of the house will be around $40 a square foot for the rest of the house. So then you go, okay, that's how much that is, and then you back it out. Great question, Michael. Good to see you on here. Demola, hey, Brent, finally got my proof of concept. Yes, I closed my first deal yesterday. 1,600 thanks to you and the hotline fam. Look at this. Nice. I love it. Listen, proof of concept. I mean, literally in your mind, you're over here and you're on this piece of land, and this is faith. And you're on solid ground there. You got the faith that you can do this. And then you do this deal, and all of a sudden this bridge gets constructed over here, and there's a whole new land, and it's huge, called fact. And you walk across it right there with the proof of concept, because out of the ether, out of using this thing and this thing, you made income. You pulled income out of the air. Like magic. It's absolutely incredible. Congratulations. That is awesome. Is that 4 bell rings already? Wow. Awesome.
Let's go.
Contract season worldwide in the house. Definitely helping my progress. Am I bothering you? Text. Help me get an appointment. There you go. Absolutely. With a seller tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So what he's referring to there is you want to call it as it is. You want to be a human being. You don't want to sound like, you're too salesy and you're too up all the time. You're too listen, if I'm bothering you, let me know. I'll stop reaching out. I just need to know either way if you're still considering an offer on your property. That's it, right? Call it out. Put it right on its face. Love it. It works. Cam, ready to get back to the real estate game. Welcome. We're ready to have you back, Cam. Been out since COVID started. Wow. Ready to build this machine. TTP, that's it. Listen, just make a call today, Cam. I mean, you've been doing something. right, for income. And so getting that train, having that train on the tracks and getting that thing starting to roll a little bit, it's just lead generation. That's the engine of our business. So, put some fuel in that engine and start making progress every single day. Every single day, I want you to make progress. And that could be talking to one person and then 2 people and then 3 and then 5 and then whatever. It starts building up. But don't let, and this isn't just for you, Cam, this is for everybody. Don't let those doubts creep in. That gut check, that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling, that punch to the gut that you feel, embrace it. Everything is that is what leads to change. And change is once you change into somebody that you want to be, you're going to look back and you're going to have fond memories of the struggle. You're going to have fond memories of destroying that doubt, like pouring water all over like a bunch of sand. It's just going to dissolve. It's going to be gone. Maybe a bunch of sugar. I don't know. A bunch of salt. That would probably dissolve better than sand.
Yeah, something fast.
There's something in there. We'll start playing around. Liana, what are the best questions to ask a real estate agent about a property and to start a business relationship with? Love to get your take on this as well, Raf. But the number one thing is, hey, I need your help. Yeah, and this goes along, I've had a lot of conversations. I've done a lot of content. I've done answered a lot of these questions with Jamil Damji, with Ryan Zolan, with Raf, who's done a lot of business with real estate agents, with my own experience. It all starts with, I need your help. Okay, I need to find a property. I need to find properties that I can completely renovate. Okay, or in this shifting market, I need to find properties of property owners that would consider terms, consider being the bank on it. Well, what does that mean? That means I give them a deposit and I make monthly payments to them, but I own the property. They transfer ownership over to me. Oh, I think this person would do that. He needs to get out of it. The payment is eating him up. Okay, awesome. Let's have that connection, right? Because you can wholesale creative deals. You can keep creative deals. I mean, a lot of people keep the creative deals, right, Raf, because they want to build their portfolio. My belief and my experience is if you go 12 months building the systems in place to wholesale all your deals so that you can build up a big, healthy, heavy bank account, that's going to allow you to make better decisions on better properties that you want to hold long term. But if you just want to add properties to your portfolio because you want to just get the depreciation or get the reps or whatever else, I get it. I totally get it. It just depends on where you put your attention, because rental properties take attention. And it doesn't matter if you have a property manager, you still have to manage the property manager. And property managers usually burn out after about 18 to 24 months. Go ahead.
Yeah, they take attention, they take maintenance.
Yep.
So it's a whole different beast, right, when it comes to.
Dude, you look good
to
on this
business
camera,
model.
man. Holy
I'm
cow,
telling
you look tan.
It's got to be the
Wow.
It's
So
gotta
how
be
do
the
you
setup.
talk to real estate agents?
So one of the I like to approach agents from the power team standpoint, right? So basically, it's anytime we reach out to anybody, right? We're trying to lead with value. So think about what that looks like in an agent's eyes, right? So we'll start a conversation by letting them know that we're trying to build up a power team. So it's not just a one time that we're gonna have this conversation and then right off into the sunset. It's a power team thing. It's a relationship thing that just creates that foundation, that expectation that we're gonna we can continue doing business right together. And then if they have something that they can bring to you in terms of creative financing, or anything like that that's just kind of off the regular wheelhouse. I'm your guy, right? But now we have a power team that keep both sides of the commission if they have something in place. And we try to, one thing that I do a lot is network with people. So it's really connecting them to more resources than they normally would have, right? So if I have resources, they can tap into my network.
Everybody.
They can tap into my network, and that creates added value, right? So it's a two-way street.
Awesome.
It's not just
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Once you're established in the area, you can start connecting. That is beautiful. I love that. And listen, you can give them another source of income. You can say, hey, listen, you refer these deals over to me. I'll split them with you 50-50. I have no problem with that. You bring those deals to me, I'll give you 50% of it. They'll feed you all day long, every ugly house, because if they could just give you a name and an address and a phone number, and all of a sudden you go out there and you make a $15,000 and you give them $7,500 in this market, in this transitioning markets where you're going to see a 30-40% fall off in real estate agents, for real, it's an incredible resource for them. So, yeah, build that. Listen, bring me ugly houses. I will split the deal with you 50-50, and it'll be pretty much passive to you. You just are the one out there finding these opportunities, which you run into anyway.
Yeah, they're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get an example of what our new ARV looks like? Okay, so after repaired value, what I would do, a couple different things. Matt, do we have the updated, just look on Zillow and then adjust your offer? Okay. Yeah. So basically, if you look at Zillow and it's above 250,000, you're going to want to be about 50%. Okay. If it's between 250 and 100,000, you want to be at around 40%. And if it's below 100, you want to be at 15%. Maybe 35% in that middle ground. Just depends on how much work it needs. But 50, 35, 15 of Zillow for real. And that'll get you a good basis. That'll get you in a nice area. Now, if they're like totally off, you can sharpen your pencil with somebody that really knows the area, or talk to your cash buyers and say, listen, this guy here wants 80. I'd like to make 10 on it. Is 90,000. If I brought it to you at 90,000, would you buy it? They'll work with you. The buyers are now like, oh, it's our time, right? As the market shifts yeah, that's still a little bit off, but I would say now at 250, I would say 50%. Now, listen, once you go really, really bananas on price, 50% is probably not going to work unless it needs a lot of work. But man, you know what? It might not be bad. It might not be bad. Hey, Mom, come here. Come say hello to everybody. This is my mom, Deanne. She runs the books. Say hello. Hello. You bringing me a chai tea?
Chai tea.
All right. Well, I'll take that later. Not during the show. What are we doing here? Love you, Mom. All right. There we go. It's really nice having this whole office. Everybody comes in, and it's just us, and we got 4,000 square feet. So if you're part of the TTP coaching program or any of the Rhino Tribe under Wholesaling Inc., you're invited every Friday into the office, meet the team, do all that stuff. It's really, really, really fun, really cool. So just a little sidetrack there. But yeah, with the ARV, you got to look, if you're going to really sharpen your pencil on the comms, you want 30 days. You want to get the sales in the last 30 days. What's the highest sale in the last 30 days? Because those flip properties in a lot of areas have come down. Like in Phoenix, it's like 20% down. Maybe more in some areas that really went bananas. But the beautiful thing that Raph was talking about is, listen, you're kind of seeing some stability with interest rates. It's actually dipped a little bit. It went down to 4.99, then 5.33, and the whole thing. I had to pull it up on my computer, but whatever. You can just Google, interest rate chart, and it fluctuates on a weekly basis. But once there's stability, once people know what they can afford and know what price points, the cash buyers come back in. The problem is when it slides down quickly and inventory raises so fast, and everybody's talking about recession, everybody's talking about inflation, everybody's talking about interest rates going bananas, it scares the hell out of investors. It just does.
Well, one thing too, I don't know if you caught it on there, but it's like compared to last year, we're not even close in terms of what the stats were, right? And people are still freaking out more right now just because of the word of mouth that's happening. So I don't know, just look at the numbers and then stay consistent again with pushing that forward.
Yeah,
like that's progress, not perfection, right?
That's it. Isn't that great?
Oh, I love it. I
love it. Smokey, okay. Brent, how do I sign a contract when I'm doing this virtual and the seller's older, she won't use technology, and doesn't have a family? Yeah, this happens often. This is a great question. Just go on and get a mobile notary. somebody that's going to be dressed up. They're going to go in. They don't have to notarize it. They're just going to get the signatures. All right. So they set it up. You set the appointment. They go out there. They put the contract in front of them, get it signed, and they'll scan it for you right there and send it to you. So that's the best bet, is to get a mobile notary. Unless you have a real estate agent out there that you're connected with, if you're in a virtual market and you've got boots on the ground, use that. But if not, just use a mobile notary, and boom, you got it locked up. Just make sure they're ready to sign, because some of them use the excuse, well, I don't do technology. All right, we got Dad too. Come on in. Hey. Come here. Say hello to everybody. We got Mom. We got Dad. We got 220 people here. This is my dad, Dave. Hello.
How you doing?
Love you. All right. Yeah. So mobile notary. Brent, so many, how much will you give me people? Yeah, can't find motivated sellers calling, driving for dollars, niche lists, and I'm struggling. 200 conversations per week, no deals. How many leads do you have? How many leads do you have? I mean, if there's leads in there, they'll convert. There's got to be somebody that's saying yes. And if that's driving for dollars and niche lists, just keep pushing. I'm telling you, they're in there. If you're having that many conversations, do me a favor, Drew. And I'll break it down on this show. Send me a recording of your calls, because it's one of three things, right? It's you got bad data, but it sounds like you're getting you're getting contacts. The lists, you need to switch up your list to a more distressed list, or it's your skills on the phone, the conversations that you're having. So send me. So it sounds like you got the lists. Sounds like you're making the contacts, but for some reason it's not converting. So I'd love, Drew, if you'll just put in here how many leads you're getting, and then second, send me a recording and I'll break it down and give you my notes on it, and see if there's little tweaks here and there that you can change that makes a dramatic difference. In certain ways that you can communicate with people that maybe they want too much in price, but maybe there's a different technique for you. Which brings me to the point of next week's show. I thought it was this week. Sorry, guys, for the announcement last week. I jumped the gun because I'm so excited. Next week's show, I'm going to have Todd Toback in the studio, Raf, breaking down how to do novation deals. This is how to open up the market to every single buyer, right? We know that we live in a world where we get a deal, we got to sell it to somebody that's a cash buyer, right? But now we could sell it to FHA, VA, conventional. We could sell it to everybody on the market, smooth as possible. It's absolutely incredible. It's a technique that you have to learn. Make sure you're on here next Wednesday. Make sure. Put it in your calendar now. Awesome.
Toback's the man. He's the first podcast that I ever heard on
Wholesaling. Todd's been doing novations for 10 years.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of novations until 120 days ago. Or 12 days ago, whatever. But now he's training up my team. They're going out on these appointments. It's incredible. So make sure that you guys join us. Claudia, great to see you. What are assignment fees now on average? They're about, so before, the national average was 15,000. Now it's 10. And in bigger markets, it used to be like 10%. That's what we were pushing for. Now it's like 6 or 7%. Yeah, they're tighter. Just because the seller's expectations are still higher, and the buyer's criteria is lower. And so meeting in the middle is we're taking a hit right now. It'll go back up, but we're taking a hit right now because of those two factors. Raf, you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think the average is right around there, the 10K.
Yep.
That's what we're seeing, especially in those tighter markets. Going back to the previous question, I'd be curious to know what the follow-up game is, what the sequence that he's doing on the follow-ups, because he's having 200 conversations, right? Like, I wonder what the follow-up looks like on that.
Well, he said no deals, so I don't know if that means no leads. If it's no leads, then something's going on with the conversation. Yep. Was that Stephanie Hunt? There she is. Oh, you made my day, Stephanie. Thank you for being on here. You have truly provided for your family. You have set a brand new tone, togetherness, and trajectory for the loved ones in your life. Hot tears tight through. I'll tell you what, Stephanie. I work for my family. You know what I mean? Like, they don't work for me. I work for them. They're absolutely incredible. The amount of support and love, and yeah, they just, my dad has told me I'm the best Brent, and I'd have to say in the whole wide world since I was, since I could speak. And so definitely a lot of confidence and support, and I have an unfair advantage for sure. I really do. So I love that you recognize that, and yeah, it's fun now that they, in their retirement age, they get to help me out and stay busy with this stuff and make sure that my taxes get paid. So yeah, they're the finance side. Oh yeah, okay, Drew, you got 250 leads, bro. He's got 250 leads.
Yeah.
So yeah, you listen. It could be a lead follow-up. I think you diagnosed it there, Drew. Drew, you got 250 leads having those many conversations. It's just a timing thing at this point. With 250 leads, I would expect you to have at least, at the very worst, 5 deals in there, which will be, let's call that 50,000 in a lower price market, but that could be 100,000. In a higher price market. You could have a lead in there that's 50,000. I had a great conversation yesterday, and with a student that just closed $140,000, but 128 net to him for Robin Perez out of Miami. Absolutely incredible, and Miami's a tough market, and he crushed it. So, by the way, Drew. Luke Rotfold, who called me and texted me to call him as soon as I can. He is the best caller that I've ever heard, the most efficient, gets the best deals, and he's been doing it. I trained him, and then he took off since 2014. He's been doing it, and he's absolutely incredible. It took him 5 months to close his first deal. And this is 2014, guys. Like, this was not like... I don't think that there was a single YouTube channel that talked about wholesaling, except for maybe Todd Toback and Sean Terry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got this. Chin up, rhino on, thick skin, progress, not perfection. You're doing amazing. Joe and Sil. Hey, Joe and Sil. So should I look to bake in 10K or 15K into every deal? I want you to bake in as much as possible into every deal, but I would always shoot for 25, and then if the buyers tell you it's 10 or 15, cool. You know what I mean? It just depends. I mean, if it's a deal where you're like, okay, the seller wants 277,000, and at that price I can make 10, should I do that deal? Would you do that deal?
All day,
all day,
Sunday.
all day, and twice on Sunday. And he's got a 2-parter here with Joe and Sil. I'm a licensed realtor. How do I double dip? Well, you don't remember this, Joe, and this is the top. Okay. It depends on what strategy you have. You actually have 4 strategies that you can implement, and this is the advantage of having a real estate license. Now, I would suggest that you focus on one, and it depends on the condition of the property, and I'll walk you through each one of these steps, Joe. So if it's destroyed, if this property is really like it needs full renovation, it's like the one that I showed earlier today where the walls are ripped up and it's all exposed, then you need to wholesale it. That's a wholesale deal. Okay, so you're the buyer, Joe. You lock it up, you assign it to somebody as a cash buy, or you flip it to them, right? You close on it and flip it to them. But if you're going to wholesale, you just assign it to them. It's all in the paperwork. It's all in the contract. You can get it at ttpinsider.com, right? Steps the whole process through ttpinsider.com. The second step is if it's dated, Joe, you have 2 options. You could do a novation, which you know what this is. It's essentially a net listing, right? You agreed to 250,000, but if it gets cleaned up a little bit and taken care of, you could sell it for 300,000. You split after all the costs. You get whatever's left over 250,000. It's essentially what a novation is. Todd's going to do a much better job explaining that. Or you could list it. Third option. They want too high a price, and you get them on terms. You do something creative with them. You give them a down payment, give them a monthly payment for as long as possible, right? That's your third. And then the fourth is just a pure listing. You just list it as a listing, and then you're not really double dipping. So you're not really double dipping as an agent because you're the buyer. So who's being represented? Nobody's being represented. Now, if they have a listing agent, then you can't double dip anyway. What Joe and Sil means by double dipping is when you get the listing commission and the buyer's agent commission. Richard, when it comes to negotiating sellers and appointments, how can I skillfully counter their want price versus what the numbers actually say for the deal? Well, a couple different things, Richard. So you're never going to convince, right? Well, Raph, when somebody came in and so Raphael was Sean Terry's acquisition manager. Every time I'd go on an appointment, his damn business card was sitting on the table. I got half the deals. He got half the deals. It pissed me off. Anyway, you would go out there. They have a price of $250. The best you can offer them is $220, right?
Yeah.
And are you going to convince them to take $220?
No, we don't convince. We just go through the process of discovery. A lot of times they're going to be pushing a number, right? Keep that in mind. They're going to be pushing the number that they think they can get for the property, but there has to be a degree of distress. The last thing that you want to convince or that you want to do is convince, because you're going to have a lot of issues, especially at the closing table. People freak out at the closing table if they're not completely vested in selling that property. As far as skillfully like countering, there's different stages in the conversation where you can actually start building that spread. For example, my process when I was negotiating a property, right, I would begin with the ARV. That's one number. You have to be on the same page in terms of what the property's worth. And I would always try to go for that price point, the bottom third of the range of the comps. So that would give me a little bit of buffer, right? The second stop I would make for building, that cushion of spread or profit was the repairs. The third one was showing them, listen, if you list the property, you're going to be, paying 6% here, and closing costs and this and this and that. And then, so we have to account for that. It's just expenses and make it logical, right? So the fourth one was I went back and then we would price the property for sale based on the upper 1/3 of the comps, right? So we would end up creating this spread of, $20, $25, $30, $40,000. As opposed to just hitting them in the throat with this one shot and then trying to get a full spread of that big chunk of cash. But it's there's different just points in the conversation where you can start creating that profit margin that you're looking for, Richard.
Discovery. I love that terminology. Matt, by the way, we're going to get some more participation here in the side chat. I want to know your opinion. We're going to be doing a poll on which New York penthouse you would prefer to live in after we answer this. Brent is like, Sean Terry 2.0. Love the motivation. Thank you. Sean is the best. He is absolutely incredible. If I was a tenth of his talent and experience, I would be the happiest guy ever. He is incredible. So let's look at this. Let's look at two New York penthouses. Number one is this one. Oh, we've got a balcony. Okay. We've got a balcony. We're overlooking. It looks nice and open, a little bit more modern. Look at that. Okay, so that's number one. If you like number one, put in number one. And here is number two. Number two, you don't have your balcony, but look at those views. A little bit different. What's that? Look at those windows. Look at those views. Look at that herringbone wood flooring. I mean, come on. Number one or number two? What do you got, Raph?
Bro, I'm a sucker for balconies, man.
Okay. He likes lounging outside, getting the fresh air. It's a number one for Raph. Daniel, what do you think? Number one or number two? Let's put it up there, guys. Put in the comments section. Number one or number two. And it's not up anymore. Okay. Yes, I would, Matt. Let's do it one more time. We've got number one, balcony, New York penthouse, okay? And number two. Let's put a poll out there. I'm going to go with number two because my children would jump over the edge.
Good point.
No doubt about it. I'm going to go with an enclosed space.
Cage.
And I just love views. You know, if you can buy a place with a view, that's when you really spend your money, in my opinion. So there you go. Number 1 or number 2, put it in there. Let us know. I'm just curious on our audience's opinion. All right. Donovan, is batch dialers still experience problems? Appreciate the value. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we use Mojo. Had to switch back to Mojo. It's been a great disappointment in my opinion. I love everybody at Batch. I push Batch. I support Batch. I use Batch for skip tracing. I use Batch leads for pulling lists. I use Batch leads for the skip tracing and organizing and stacking my lists. They're coming out with their 3.0 version for that, and it's going to be absolutely bananas. But the number one complaint that I've had in my coaching business is a batch dialer. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I have two. Brandon Kimball, look at this. I have 2 closings this week. One for $50K assignment fee, and the other one for $30K. If you're in Chicago, send me your deals. Come on. Boom. That's 5 bell rings. Let's get it to 10. We still got another 52 minutes of this show. We go for 2 hours every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And, I want to get this to at least 10. If you feel like what we do here is helping you get closer to your goals, then hit the subscribe button. That's a huge compliment to us, and hit the like button. And, if you feel like you're getting that value, that would be amazing. Here we go. My team's like, you're so bad at pitching that. You need to be better at pitching subscribe. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, let's just give value. We'll figure it out. Jordan, where can I find more buyers? That is a great question. So, number 1 is obviously you can squad up with people that have really big buyers lists. So you could talk to anybody at Keyglee. You can go on to TTP Insider, and we have a JV button that Jeremy, my disposition manager, will review it if it's in a major market. We really don't do well on the outskirts. We do very well in town. Actually, I have David from Nigeria that we were trying to do the cold call breakdown last week with. He's on the podcast today. Oh, I'm excited about sharing that. That's going to blow everybody's mind. But we've sold, I don't know if it's all of his deals or at least 3 out of the 5 of his deals in Houston. So we've got a really strong buyer base. So if you need some help, let us know. But if you want to build it yourself, get the 100 to 150 best buyers. We have the Cash Buyer Pack, and it's a download in TTP Insider. TTP Insider has an unbelievable assortment of resources and tools that you can download and implement into your business right away. But the Cash Buyer Pack in there will show you how to find those yourself. If you need some help selling a deal right away and you don't have those relationships yet, you can certainly Google Keyglee, and you can certainly reach out to us at ttpinsider.com. Seth Taylor, thanks for changing my life. 7 years. Seth Taylor out of Colorado. Brother, you changed your own life. Let's be honest with that. But you are absolutely incredible. Yeah, that's we've been talking for a long time. And Seth was, he does incredible business and is an incredible real estate investor. Guys, make sure that you squad up with Seth in the comments, because I don't know if you've been on here before. I don't know if you've posted. Maybe it's been a while. But while he's here, guys, snatch him up. Snatch him up and start building those relationships with him. He's absolutely incredible. We have a toll? Do we have a total on this? All right, let's see. Was it number 1 or number 2? Number 1 took it. Was it a landslide?
Oh yeah.
It was close. Okay, number 1. The audience has spoken. Number 1 is the top selected out of the 2 penthouses. Awesome.
I believe that's 2 for 2 for me.
Yeah, you crushed both of them.
Yeah.
Listen, you are.
I am on a roll.
You are the opinion of the people. I'm telling you, you are. Love it. Yoritza, What's the best skip tracing software? I've used PropStream, and it has has a lot of BS numbers. Yes, batchskiptracing.com. And guys, I highly suggest if you're rolling in this business and you've got a decent budget and you've got enough saved up to really go and get all the tools. Batch leads makes it a lot easier. You can literally pull the lists that you want and get the phone numbers, and it's done. If you want to pull your numbers from, pull your addresses from PropStream or Deal Machine or whatever, put it into batch skip tracing, you'll get the numbers. If you don't want to do the whole subscription model type thing, if you just want to pay to play type of thing or pay as you go. So batchskiptracing.com and batch leads. Olivia, when I'm reaching out to a probate, is it okay to mail to the deceased person if I can't find the heir? Sure. I mean, I don't think they'll mind. They're dead. So, yeah. I mean, if somebody's checking, oh, you mean mail? I thought you said email. Mail to them? Sure. 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 I mean, how else are you going to get a hold of them? I mean, yeah. Was that insensitive? I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, that's how most people get it. What are some key points when going on appointment when dealing with a seller in pre-foreclosure? The ARV is $290K. He said he wants $260K. These are great opportunities for subject to. Great opportunities for subject to. Brent, I don't know how to structure a subject to. Well, if you know that first, are they open for you to take over their loan? If they're cool with that, and you know how much they want down, and you want all the paperwork handled, you go to Constant Close. Rochelle at Constant Close. She is a savage. She knows all of them. She knows, oh man, that woman is impressive. But she's incredible. And she does all of ours. We don't mess with it. So, she'll also postpone the foreclosure. She'll do all sorts of different things. So one thing you need to find out is what's the payoff? How much do they need how much down do they need? How much do you have to spend to get them caught up?
How far behind?
How much cash do they want out of pocket? How much repairs does this thing need? How much do you think that you can wholesale this for if you don't want to keep it yourself? What are the payments, and does it match up with, are the payments much lower than what you can get in rent? That's what you're really looking at. And so, obviously, Pace Morby's the master of Sub 2, so you can check out any of his stuff. But Rochelle would put it all together so that you know that it's going to go smooth once you build a relationship with that seller. So if he wants $260, what does he owe? That's what I want to know. If he owes $160, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, typically. Typically, somebody's not going to give them $100,000 payments and all these other things.
I wonder how far into the foreclosure they are too. Like
right.
the further they are into it, the more motivation they'll have to sell.
Yeah.
So find that out as well.
Luis, what are the essentials to have to do virtual wholesale? You need a phone. You need a phone. You need a computer. That's the essentials. Extremely proactive attitude. That's it. You build up your pipeline of leads. You find really good deals, and then you just reach out to the top. You can just Google wholesale real estate. You can Google fix and flip real estate. You can Google top real estate investors in that area, and then you sell it to them. Just don't overcomplicate it. The essentials are you need a phone. You need a phone and just start calling. That's the essentials. From there, you could squat up with somebody in the comment section here in whatever market you're in. Or you go into real estate investing group in Charlotte, real estate investing group in St. Louis, right? Wherever you're at, and then just start making those connections. Hit that like button. How close are we? 128. Nice.
It's getting up there. I wonder who the
128.
150
We
is
need
gonna be.
22 more likes for Swag Box. Been using your TTP script, so thanks. You got it. My home market is tough. I started driving for dollars and found lots of potential. My problem is big companies buying houses before I can. Any advice for a little guy with $0? Yeah. Number one, you're only little in your head, right? Who cares? You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. You could spin that as a huge advantage. Listen, you could be a cog in the wheel. You could be just another number to these big companies, or I can just personally work with you, over communicate, make this as smooth as possible, make this real a white glove treatment on getting this done as stress-free as possible. Right? I mean, you could use that as your advantage. Will they outspend you? Sure. Will they name you and brand you? Sure. But that's every market. People still do deals. So I'm telling you, Donzel, there's plenty of opportunities. There's more ugly houses than there are investors buying them. So I would take that limiting belief and shove it down. And the way you shove that down is just consistently add to your pipeline of leads and start getting some deals in. And I'll tell you what, some of those big companies pause buying for a long time.
They're slowing down.
They pause their buying. All of a sudden, they cancel deals. All of a sudden, as things start shifting, I mean, one hedge fund here, I think they canceled on 500 transactions?
Yeah.
In a day? I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I think you have a huge. You're lean. You're quick. You know what I mean? You're able to move your business fast. Those big guys, you're on a jet ski. You know what I mean? They're on a big old cruise liner. You can zip around that thing in all day.
I love that analogy, by the way, because it's so true.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a jet ski in so long, dude. You ever been on a jet ski?
Yeah.
That thing's quiet.
Those things are fun.
When would you say it's time to exit wholesaling in your own backyard? I've never done it, so I don't know. Raph, you've never done it. And we're in Phoenix, where, listen, if you want to be a real estate coach or influencer or guru, I mean, you literally have to live within a 30-mile radius of here, right?
Yeah, it's part of the application process.
It's the application. Yeah, that's the only way that you can filter through. It's the only way people will know you're legit. No, what I mean is it's a competitive market. You know what I mean? Not only that, but Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow all used our city as their beta test. Yeah. All of them. Redfin, all of them. Now we have this 72-hour sale. All of them. Like, everybody's here. Still do deals. So, listen, Denzel, test out another market. Fine. But, not or. Do your market and test out another one. And see if you have better results there. I'm cool with that. As long as you're progressing. Progress, not perfection. All right?
I can't emphasize enough how important it is, right, to keep that consistency in the lead generation process. We start getting doubts. We start looking at competitors. We start, thinking about all the things that can go wrong. But if you keep that lead generation engine just pumping and going, and you have even that drip of leads coming in on a consistent basis, like, you're forced to take action, right? Like, that to me it's not really, like, at the beginning when I was doing all everything myself, that was the determining factor. Like, that's the one thing that kept me pushing forward. It wasn't, the drive, no, it's because I had leads to call, right?
Yeah.
But just turn that on. You're going to forget about the competition. You're going to forget about, the other companies that are, buying stuff, from underneath you, because you have stuff to work on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, idle hands do the devil's work.
Yeah.
And that's usually just negative self-talk. It's negative affirmations. Negative affirmations are what affect our subconscious. Our subconscious affects our ability to develop skills and to take action. It does. So put a ton of positive affirmations in there. Now, I'm not saying do positive affirmations. And I had a buddy, Jason, and he is the affirmation king of the world. And he just goes on, and he's spiritual with it, and he's really emotional into it, and he does all this stuff, and he never leaves the house, never picks up the phone, never does anything. He's been in all the different multi-level marketings, and then he tried real estate a little bit, and then he tried, all this health food stuff and all this other stuff. Nothing happens. Nothing happens because he's missing the part where you go out there and actually take the actions. Yeah. And I think, honestly, that he has too many negative affirmations, that he's battling with the positive affirmations, and it's kind of like at a stalemate, and it causes him to take no action. And I think we've all been like that at some point, at some transition through our journey here in life, where the positive and the negative affirmations are kind of fighting each other. And I'm telling you, just going out there and taking the action, making progress, and knowing that you're being productive and not busy, that's how you really build up the positive affirmations. I did that. I drove today. I got these leads. I talked to these people. You know what I mean? It's not what happens. It's the cause, not the effect. People worry so much about the effect of it. Right? Yeah. It's the cause that's the seed. It's the cause that is the win. You can drive for dollars and not find a house. Yeah. But you went and drove for dollars. You could call people and you didn't talk to anybody because you only called 3 people. And that's a win. You could call people and they can reject you. That's still a win. Focus on the cause. Focus on what you can actually control. You focus. I saw a great TikTok the other day. It's like, give me a 30 seconds response on how to get more results, or how to not worry as much, I think is what it was. How to get results and not worry about things as much. And he said, write down every problem that you have, and then circle the ones that you can control. Yeah. Focus on those.
I like that.
I love that. Yeah. Can I get a T? Can I get another T? Can I get another P? TTP. Yes, Edwin, you can. Oh, I got to get Ryan in here. Ryan was a cheerleader. My acquisition manager was a cheerleader in college. He would love that, Edwin. He would be hyped all day long. He'd be going, Ryan, if you're watching this, we might have to clip this and send this to you. I wish we had your cheerleading photo. Matt kind of got rid of a bunch of stuff upgrading our computer, but if you can find that cheerleading photo, that'd be amazing, Matt. I called a seller yesterday, and her daughter answered. She said her mom does not own a house, but when I looked up on prop, it states it was a quit claim deed is what it is, in her name. Should I tell the daughter or leave it? Yeah, I would have that conversation, D. Why not? Well, just to let you know, I mean, whether we do business or not, or whether you guys are going to sell this or not, I looked up the actual records on who's on title, and it actually shows your mom is on title as of whenever it is. Are you guys aware of that? Is that something that you knew? Did you think somebody else was on title? Now, if they're like, yeah, we knew, we're just messing with you, whatever. If they're just being sassy, then get rid of them. You know what I mean? But if they're being cool, then maybe they don't know. Maybe they actually don't know. Dominant investments. I love that. Look at that. Look at that powerful pit bull. I think those dogs are so cool. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, how do you deal with a property with an existing tax lien? It depends on what kind of tax lien you're talking about. Is it an income tax lien? Or is it a property tax lien, right? So if it's a property tax lien, it just, when it sells, it gets paid off. Just make sure that the lien is less than the price that you're offering. So if you look at this thing and you've got like a big bucket, right? And you've got down here is this tax lien. It's only 10% of that bucket, but the rest of the 90% is, what you can offer is your offer price. This 10% gets paid off, and they get the remainder of the funds in that on that deal. So it just depends. Now, if that bucket's overflowing because it's like an IRS tax lien, or it's a lower income or lower price property, lower valued property, and they owe a lot on taxes, then you can try to negotiate, but typically they don't care. And I believe income tax liens fall off at some point. Somebody was telling me that. Oh, Dimitri Van Camp was telling me that they fall off at like 10 years. So he starts calling people that have IRS tax liens at 9.5 years.
Interesting. I haven't done that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, wait till that podcast drops. I did that last week. Guys, Wholesaling Inc. podcast, if you're not subscribed to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, I mean, it's had some rough months, and we're bringing it back, but it is still 500,000 downloads a month. I mean, it's a powerful podcast, and it's going to be back to what it is. Oh, there's Ryan. Can I get a tea? Can I get a tea? Can I get a pee?
Ryan's the one on the back.
You know what's funny about that picture? This is no joke. I was single in college. Put that picture up one more time. Robin there, who looks crazy. I asked her out on a date in the weight room, and she totally rejected me. Totally. All I'm saying is, like, the women choose the men. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Pump the brakes, young guys. Okay, pump the brakes. Oh, there we go. We have a winner. LBIV Royal Family for the swag box. Here we go. Boom. That is awesome. Laura, do you have any, do any of you do deals on houses with fire damage? Sure. How do you estimate the repair cost? Yeah. So, and because this has popped up twice, people must be lighting fires on a lot of houses recently. But Laura, typically it's about $140 a square foot for the area that's damaged, and then the rest of the house will be about $40 a square foot. So that's so if 1,000 square feet is damaged, then 140,000 would have to be reinvested in the house to get rid of all that fire damage. And then you have to find out, is it fire damage where they have to knock down the house, or is it fire damage that they can go and renovate this? The other thing is, Laura, remember that, and I didn't mention this on the first time we were asked this, but the first you got to find out if they've got their insurance money, because typically they get the replacement cost. They'll go in and do all the bids, and the bids are very high. And they'll already get a check. So don't play that game where they're like, well, I'm going to get a check and I'm going to try to get, way over what it's worth right now. They already got paid. Essentially what's left is, it just depends on how much of the fire, how much of the damage, or how much of the house was damaged, and land cost, the cost of the lot. Brent, love you guys. Are Mojo numbers really that bad? Call rail is $9 per number. Test it, Edwin. I mean, I think it's market by market, but whenever we used Mojo numbers, they were like instantly, so Mojo will give you caller ID numbers, and they were instantly like flagged for us. Maybe it's a Phoenix thing, and this is in a lot of other markets as well with my students that are all throughout the country, but we use call rail. So I don't know, Edwin, maybe it works for you.
We're having pretty good results with Ready Mode. It used to be ZenCall.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've been using for a while, and connection rate is there. Maintenance
Awesome.
as far
How
as
do they give? They give you caller IDs?
Yeah, it's all in there.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Shane Johnson, hey Brent, if a seller is terminating a trust, does the X out creative? Does that X out creative? I don't know if the seller is terminating a trust. Well, if you terminate a trust, who's going to be the owner? Yeah. That's all you need to know. Who's going to own the property? And then if you figure out who's going to own it, are they going to sell it? Remember, with creative, you want to own that property. You want to be on the title. So I don't care if it's in a trust or if it's a person or whatever. Who's responsible that can transfer that title to me? Rob, Brent, I've closed 6 deals in a year, equaling about $65,000. What do you suggest to start hitting 3 to 4 deals a month? Hire another VA. I only have one. First of all, Rob, come on. That is bananas. We've got 7, Raph, 7 bell rings. All right, 7 bell rings
I like that calendar,
so far. Listen, $65,000. Congratulations. I know that you want to get to 3 to 4 deals. This is a suggestion that I told all on our coaching call yesterday. You need to be making the calls as well, first of all. So don't just leave it up to a VA. If you're going to leave it up to a VA, great. Get another dialer or another line on your dialer and call at least an hour a day, every day, for a week. Now, with my students, I said a month, but they're advanced. So for a full month, or just for a week, just call with them. And what I want you to do is put it on Zoom, put it on Skype, put it on Google Meetup. It's not like you're listening to them. It's not like you're doing that, but you both see each other making calls is going to give you so many more deals. When there is collaboration and energy and you're competing a little bit to see who gets the most leads, woo! Everybody steps up their game. Everybody steps up their game. When somebody's watching you, when somebody's doing, it's like working out with a trainer. You know what I mean? When you work out by yourself, you're like, okay. You're working out with a trainer, you're like, okay, I got to push it with this trainer. And then my trainer, every once in a while, he puts his camera on me, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta do way more reps. Yeah, I gotta do more reps. I gotta do more weights. I mean, you're gonna film this? Get out of here! Well, we're gonna get going. You know what I mean? So just add another layer of excitement to it. Add another layer of attention to it. Add another layer of energy to it. Be on a Google. You guys, you could set up literally on this show. You could find 3 or 5 people that are brave. It might take you a few shows because people might not be ready. But what I would do is I would try to find 3 or 5 people in here right now that are live, 200 people in there, and just say, hey, listen, let's do a Google Meet and let's call for an hour this week together, all together. Watch how fun that hour will be. And then all of a sudden somebody pauses and they're like, I got a lead. Ring, ring, ring. I just had a great conversation. Ring, ring, ring. Somebody just told me to eat all their dog poop from the backyard and then they'll sell the house to me or whatever. You know, ring, ring, ring. You know, just have fun with it. It doesn't have to be this draining, drawn out thing. And I'm telling you, if you're leveraging other people's skills to get you leads, you're going to stunt your growth. It's going to take you longer because the people with the skills to communicate effectively with property owners make it in any market. They do better in down markets. They do better when things are crashing. That was a huge mistake that I made. I tried to leverage way too early in my young career, and it totally crushed me. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to leverage other people's time. Right? It's all about leverage, bro. But I didn't have the skills myself. And then I lost everything. And then I had to go and talk to 45,000 property owners. I had to go knock on 15,000 doors with a crew of 5 other people to learn the ability, learn the skills, learn to understand that there's only certain things that property owners tell you. If you know what to say to them, then you know how to respond. And it doesn't even matter the things that you truly say. It's the way that you say it. Your tone of voice is your body language. Go look up any psychology on communication. You will find that the words you say is less than 20% of the actual impact.
Oh yeah.
It's the context, it's your verb, it's your tone, it's your pace. Those are the things you develop when you get reps. But I'm an introvert. Great. Start a drop shipping business. You know what I mean? Real estate is for people that are going to break out of these labels that they have. Real estate is about the people that are going to build the machine that is going to be proactive to serve the community. And I don't believe that whole introvert thing. I think people just have weird negative affirmations. Anyway, go ahead.
I think, there's stories that we tell ourselves, right, as we go through the learning process and evolution, and just the mindset. If you're an introvert, you can adapt to an extrovert environment if you want to. We all have the ability to adapt and change just behaviors depending on the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
And if you see it as a means to an end, as a tool, you can actually absolutely wear that hat and then start having those conversations, just breaking out of that shell. So it's not I agree with you. It's not impossible, right? It may not be the easiest, most naturally organic thing for you to do, but it's doable, right? And if you really want it, there's going to be a way around it.
Yep.
So
what's next? I got to read this screen because Daniel is texting his girlfriend right now. Sideways. Adam, what do you do when a buyer wants to? We're swiveling the vanity screen here. Daniel's back here, who edits the videos, and so that's what I'm talking about. Adam, what do you do when a buyer wants to see the agreement you have with a seller? Great. I have no problem with that. I think that it's the smart move for a buyer to know what they're agreeing to before they agree to it, right? You're like, I'm going to assign you the rights to this purchase contract. Are you ready to pay me $20,000 for that? Yes, let me do it blindly and not know any of the terms that you have agreed to. Fantastic. Come on. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't even ask for it because they're just like, okay, it's a purchase contract. They're going to do this and it's going to be done. But yeah, some people are analytical. Some people want to know the actual terms. So, yeah, I think it's absolutely fine. Yep. Now, I'll put it this way, because there are times when the buyer is using that as leverage for you to pay less. If they're your only buyer, they can do that. You're stuck. But if you have multiple buyers, which you should, and multiple offers on your deals like you should, then the buyer that is going to try to beat you up on the assignment fee, you say, sorry, I got it sold to this guy for $15,000. I'm not going to take 8 on it. They go, oh, okay.
One thing that we've done, and we just redacted, I mean, black out the purchase price. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to find out what the price, price point was, right? So it's always better to have that conversation. But if you want to, I don't know, keep it closer to the vest, just black it out and then send them the template of, whatever the assignment is.
Love it.
Yeah, something simple like that.
Perfect fifth. Hey, Brent, love your show. So much useful information. It's amazing. Working towards my first deal. I'm launching a Facebook campaign next month. I'm so excited. That's awesome. But also pick up the phone. I mean, do the Facebook thing, but you got to go through a lot. You got to kiss a lot of frogs with Facebook marketing, and just watch your budget. But at some point, you're going to have to get on the phone. Pablo, yes. Now we're getting nitty gritty. I love this. How many cold calls per deal? Okay. Well, here's the thing. It depends on your contact rate. The main metric that you should put in your, write up or just keep in your brain or write down, 200 contacts. You, the owner of your company, making the calls, 200 contacts for one deal. If you hire a VA, it's going to be 800 to 1,000 contacts. I'm not talking calls, contacts. And typically you're between a 7 to 10% contact ratio. So if you have a 10% contact ratio, you have to talk to 200 people to get one deal. It's 2,000 calls. But I don't really look at it as calls because calls go so fast with the dialer. I'm looking at how many hours does it take to get a deal, typically 20, of being on the phone, 200 contacts. One deal. 180 people of those contacts will tell you flat out no. It might be 180 people in a row. You want to talk about being a rhinoceros. You want to talk about having rhino skin. You want to talk about charging towards a goal. Have 180 people reject you. Right? But I'm telling you, 20 of those, 19 of those will say, yeah, how much, if I sell for the right price, this type of thing. And then one will do business with you. Cluster, when's the best time to cold call working 9 to 5? The number one answer is when it's sustainable. When it's sustainable in your schedule. We talk about consistency, and that's fine. But sustainability, I think, is longer lasting. So when is it sustainable in your schedule? So, yeah. I would, whenever you can do it, whenever you can time block it with your family, and you're being consistent, but it's also sustainable. It's not like, well, I'm going to be consistent this week. Can you do it for 90 days?
Even blocking out a time from 5:30 to 7:30 or something like that, right? Like that goes a lot further than not doing anything or doing it once or twice a week. See your day as a longer day, and stop working at 7, but you put 2 hours into your own thing as opposed to spending the whole day at a 9 to 5.
Yep.
So
I have been getting up at 5:20, boom, right out of bed. Like right out of bed. I am excited, and I'm not just saying this because it's like some foo-foo. Like this is not me, guys. I was getting up at 7:30. That was like my jam. I'd stay up at midnight, 1 o'clock, like all forever. I am up at 5:20, like ripping out of the bed right now. Part of that's buying Wholesaling Inc. and being the owner of Wholesaling Inc., of course. But I am just in a woo. I just think that when you have something that you're really obsessed about and you really want to do something special and you really, you know what I mean? You got that fire in your belly. I just think about it all the time. All the time. I mean, obviously I have time to shut it down and be with my kids and family and all that stuff, but buying Wholesaling Inc. and man, just doing this and it's doing deals, doing creative deals, doing sub-twos, doing novations, doing all these things. It's just really exciting times. And I think when you have those really exciting times, you get so much more done. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't wake up, you turn on.
Yes.
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
That's right.
Totally get it.
Hello, guys. First time buying leads. Any suggestion? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, you've got different... You got different ways to do this, right? For buying leads, this is marketing. So this is inbound calls, which is fantastic. These are your best leads. These are not, let's say this, these are your fastest leads. When somebody's already made the decision, you don't have to work on that timeline part of pre-qualifying them, right? But you don't know, oftentimes with buying leads, a lot of those leads are in good condition. So it depends on if you're going to target certain properties through like direct mail, or if you're going to do more buying leads from a general sense of like pay-per-click and online leads and Facebook. That's a whole different thing because you get a ton of different, nicer properties in the mix there. When you're targeting them, you can kind of pinpoint the ugly properties, but just watch your costs. I mean, in Phoenix, it's like $20,000 in marketing costs to get a deal from direct mail.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's like $12,000 to $15,000 for pay-per-click and Facebook. So how big are your deals? Are you netting enough to grow your business? That's why we cold call, get referrals, and text. And we do pay-per-click. But it's been real interesting lately with pay-per-click. Getting a lot of listed properties, people that are like crapping their pants.
I dropped it and then just went all in on cold calling and text messaging. So that's
here we go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Boom.
That is awesome. Julio. I thought he was like rappelling down a wall in that picture. I think it's just a sideways
it's a
soccer
sideways
picture.
I think he's playing tennis or something.
Football.
Right?
No, that's he's playing.
Yeah. Right.
He's playing soccer. Period. Brent, for public foreclosure data that are basic, when going after them, do you only need to know they are single family, or do you need to research how much they own and equity, et cetera, on county sites before calling? Call everybody. Guys, if this is the only thing that you take from this channel of all time, is don't do research until you have a conversation. Seriously. Ugly houses, just have a conversation, see if they want to sell. I think that one of the biggest mistakes that real estate investors and wholesalers have, their first few years, certainly when they're getting started, is they're scared to get on the phone. They want to do all the research to make sure that what they're calling on has equity, what they're calling on has all these things lined up. Talk to them first. Talk to them first. Talk to them first. Research after, right? That's why I say the comment that the dumbest people make the most money in this business, because they're not waiting to get everything lined up to start taking action and building up their opportunities, their pipeline of opportunities.
Well, you said it earlier, right? Creative avoidance, that's part of it.
Yep.
It really is. It really is part of it.
Yep. So don't do any of that. Just call them up. Have a conversation with them. See what's going on. You know, a lot of people, remember, 90% of people that are in pre-foreclosure do loan modifications. Rafi, can you, Matt, can you put up that beautiful graph that Raf put up on pre-foreclosures? It was I think it was like orange.
The orange one, yeah.
Because I think this is real important for everybody to know. If you look there and remove E for a second here. Look at 2010, guys. 10 times the amount. Now, 2021 was so low because they weren't doing it because of COVID. There's going to be a double. 2020, like, look at the normal years. 400,000, 300,000, 300,000. This whole shadow inventory is the biggest, silliest lie of all time. I have been hearing about shadow inventory since 2010. Oh, all the hedge funds are going to sell all their properties. It's going to be a avalanche of deals. Oh, all of these pre-foreclosures. There was like 1 million or 1.5 million people late on their payments during COVID. It was like this huge headline, right? We're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be it again.
Yeah.
90% did a loan modification.
Got right back on track.
Pre-foreclosures are great because there is a timeline there, but pre-foreclosures are not going to be pre-foreclosures are not going to give you a $1 million business a year. Just saying. Too much loan modifications, too much agents going after them, too many people doing short sales if they're short. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, if pre-foreclosures keep creeping up and you start seeing short sales, you know, short sales when they have to sell for less than what is owed on it. If they got a good interest rate, sub 2 all day. Right.
Creative all day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity opening up. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, we're seeing it, right? The inventory is kind of, you know, again, like we saw it earlier, it's kind of dwindling and whatnot, but or stabilizing and tapering out. But the opportunity, especially with the rates, you know, going out there, like we can't be a one-trick pony anymore. Mm-hmm. If you were in the business for the last 5 years and you were a one-trick pony, yeah, you got by, right? But if you really want to do something with it and scale it and then just get to that next level, you have to understand different things. You have to understand creative. You have to understand, you know, how to structure stuff and solutions, you know, I think at a deeper level. Yeah.
Novations. Do not miss next week's show. Todd Toback in studio, in the flesh, talking about how to sell your deals to not just cash buyers, to everybody. Telling you, it's going to be absolutely bananas. 1 Ton Patriot back in it. All right, we missed you, brother. Hope the truck is in decent shape. Didn't somebody run into it, Handra? Yeah. Everybody knows about your truck there, 1 Ton Patriot. It's a celebrity in itself. On vacant land, how much of a difference percentage would you offer on an infill lot in a neighborhood versus rural vacant land? Rural vacant land, they have to sign over the deed. Nothing. You offer them nothing right now. No. It's got to be very, very, very low. Typically, you're at 10% of the tax assessed value. So just see what the property taxes are and offer them 10%. With vacant land in infill, it's 10% of the of what a new house would sell for. So you build a new house on that property, and and it sells for $300,000, the builder's probably looking to buy that lot for $30,000. So you got to be under that. It used to be 20%, but things are tighter. Lydia Prescott, or if you lived in Arizona, we would call it Prescott, which is kind of interesting. Congrats to me. I just signed my first contract, a luxury home outside Atlanta Metro. I started cold calling last Thursday. I got my first contract. Yay! Here we go. Number 9, we need one more in the next 8 minutes to round it out at 10 bell rings. And I like the space here. I think that people won't think that the bell is as obnoxious, but who knows? Yeah, give it a little bit of energy. And you know what? I get it, guys. Everybody's like, Brent needs a gong or a gong or a gong. I think no. We do bells around here, okay? Mel Mitchell. How has texting worked out? Texting was fantastic last year. Texting this year is very mediocre. The carriers are doing everything they can to block them. You can't send out a significant amount of text anymore. You have to, keep it restricted. And I mean, even when texting wasn't really crazy, the average in our market was 35,000 text messages for one deal. You do text a ton. Talk to us.
Yeah, we're bringing in between cold calling and texting anywhere from 80 to 120 leads. I have 5 cold callers in place. Texting is bringing us anywhere from 20 to 30, 35 leads on a weekly basis. And we're sending out about 13,000 to 14,000 texts a week.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's working. I'm using
What do you use to text?
Launch Control.
Yeah, us too.
We went through a whole bunch of different platforms. Launch Control is the one that's working. Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you're texting, take a look at that one.
Yeah, and I think, listen, if you're calling, I would text the same time, same list, same everything.
It's an easy bolt-on, man.
Yeah, if you look at the economics of it, it's really not difficult to do both. It's inexpensive. Because you already have the most expensive part of it is buying the phone numbers for the addresses you're trying to get a hold of.
Yeah.
So you already have them because you're calling them. So yeah. Ooh. Almost.
Come on, we need
almost
another win.
accidentally belled ring.
Oh yeah.
I want that 10th ring so bad. Marley, does an inspection period prevent you from losing your earnest money deposit with sellers? Should I cancel the contract within that period? Hashtag, not an attorney. It would depend on your contract. So if your contract is written, our contract is written in the way that you're protected in your inspection period to cancel for whatever reason. So make sure it's in your contract. But again, check with an attorney. Any contract questions, I just can't answer because it's just I'm not an attorney. But I can tell you what we do and what's in our contract. See, hey Brent, I know that with dual agency, the listing agent gets both sides of the commission. I get confused when the listing says the listing agent is broker and owner. Is DA the same with brokers as list? No. So basically the person selling the property, the homeowner, has a license. That's what that means. That means they're representing themselves. If you have a real estate license in most states, you have to disclose that to the general public, especially if you're buying a property or selling. So in all of our contracts, we put that, members of the LLC have an active Arizona real estate license. I have a land deal closed. Oh, I see. You little sneaky 1-ton patriot coming in for the 10th bell ring. You've been holding off. He's been sandbagging
he was waiting
us.
for that grand slam.
He has been sandbagging. I have a land deal closing today for $5,500. Just wanted to wait to number 10. Yeah, I know it. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the comments, Brent, and I'm also pleased to report that the truck is good and repaired.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. 10 bell rings. We got the swag box out. What a day. Thank you guys so much.
Ooh.
This has been incredible. This is a highlight, one of the highlights of my week, and I really appreciate you spending the time with us. M.1, do you register your numbers to not get flagged as much? I don't know. I would have to ask Jackie. I really don't know. I don't think so, but I would have to ask. I think we register the company. I don't know if we register the numbers. So I'll check into that. Because we change up the numbers like so much, I don't know. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to talk to my lead manager, Jackie Thornburg. Shout out, Jackie. She keeps us all us knuckleheads together. There he is, Dimitri. By the way, guys, Dimitri has done 400 deals since 2016 from Europe. Ooh. He did. Well, listen, he came here for like, I don't know, 6 months, Dimitri, right? Stayed in Florida, you know, loved the sun and the beach and the deals that are out here, and has done 400 deals. Has a great by himself, by the way. Wait till you hear this podcast. It'll blow your mind. I'm like, how'd you figure this out? He's like, I just did it. He's a real rhino. I'm telling you. Incredible. Good to see you, Dimitri. Make those calls. I want a massive deal. None of these $9,000 land deals, Dimitri. I want a massive $50K plus deal.
Those game changer deals, man, they break you. They break you. I mean, we keep saying that, right? But it's important. I mean, yeah, we can get proof of concept, but when you get hit with one of those $40,000, I mean, what did you $140,000 closing?
Yep.
I mean, how do you think
Perez,
that wiring is gonna is gonna work?
Well, his biggest deal up until that point was 9.
Yeah.
He netted 128.
There you go.
He's like 22 years old.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Insane.
That's our show, guys.
Insane.
Thank you for joining us. Let's bring everybody up. It is a team effort over here. Thank you guys so much for joining us on behalf of Rafael and Matt and Alejandra. We want to say we love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean. Your literal house and this house, all right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world. You'll live an incredible life. I'll see you next week. Love you.